So I finished adding all the basic chords to the project. With a little minor change here, instead of having both the cadence chords at the end here, I separated them out into two measures, but we still have an IAC and PAC here. Okay. Also what I did is I made this first 8 measures have nearly the same chords. Check it out. 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. After that it changes slightly. 1, 4, 2, 6, 5, 1, 4, 2, 5, 1. So they're really close. Why? Because I wanted to make this feel like a parallel period. And I could put the same melody basically starting out the same anyway in the first couple of measures of each of these phrases. In phrase 1, measure 1 to 4. And phrase 2, measures 5 to 8. Cool. So now I'm going to do the process of entering the melody notes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one note from each of the chords, right? And put it in the melody. So now I have the whole melody in there, and notice in this first couple measures, my melody is the same as in the next couple. C, C, D, E. Here, C, C, D, right? It starts out with these two C's and a D. So it has a parallel construction. You can hear it if you play it. Now it starts out again the same way. It has a different ending. So it's a parallel period. That makes it easier. And actually you can make both of these parallel periods if you want. It saves time because you can basically copy and paste. I didn't do that though. In the next part I made it different. Here I wanted to have some melody part that ends up going higher and higher to some climax tone, the highest note of the piece, and then more or less descends downwards afterwards. So I think that gives it some difference and interest to round things out. In order to fulfill the requirements of the project, you also need to put in some non-harmonic tones. And the specific ones you need to use are 1 passing tone, 1 appoggiatura, and 1 suspension. You can use more if you want, but you have to use those. So let's start out with the appoggiatura, because that and the suspension are probably the harder ones to add in. An appoggiatura is going to be jumping onto some non-harmonic tone, and then it steps its way back to a harmonic tone. So what I like to do typically is find some place where there's already a jump and then change the note that it jumps to be a wrong note, a note that's not part of the chord. It could be lots of places. So I think maybe this will be the place that I do it, because here's my most climactic note. It goes from E, and I think maybe I'll change it to an A, so it's even more dramatic. It'll go up this note even higher than normal, and it'll be a dissonance, and then it'll go from there downwards to a G. It's supposed to be at a G, so change it to a half note, and then I'll go over to here and make that one to a G. So now it plays from here. I don't know if I can actually play it from this. Oh yeah, here we go. So that works. Now that I've got the appoggiatura, I'm going to go ahead and label it. So I will go to text, type APP for appoggiatura. And so I've clicked on it. I can move it to where I want. I'm going to move it right there. Actually, I think I'll move it here, because then I want to put the chord text up here. That works just fine. let's now do a passing tone. Passing tones, anytime I find that there's a leap of a third or bigger, I can fill it in with passing tones. I mean, there's other things you can do too, but that'll work out just fine. So here I have an A part of the chord and C part of the chord. I can just put a B to pass in between those two. So I'm going to take this, hit the left bracket to make it a smaller value, and then go over here and hit B. So now it goes A, B, C there. I'm going to hit play from here. Cool. That already sounds better. And I'm going to go to here, click on it, and hit Control C to copy. Then Control V to paste over there. Change this to P for passing tone, or we can say PT for passing tone. It doesn't really matter a whole lot. Okay, so now we have that in there. All we need is a suspension. Here we have a note that's moving down by a step. And anytime you see some place that's moving down by a step, you can basically create a suspension. So I could do it here, or I could do it here. I think I'm going to do it over in this area since we didn't have as much happening here yet. What I'm supposed to do is go from this D down by a step to a C. But I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to repeat this D. And then finally I'll get to a C. So take it and move it up. Now it's a D. Wrong note, right? Hit the bracket to make it smaller. And then we'll finally get to our C here. So it goes from here. So this is a suspension that starts out as a fifth. Okay, everything's consonant. Then over here it goes from a C to a D. It's a 9 going to an 8. 9/8 suspension. I've already had this text copied here, so I'm going to click and paste. Then go sus 9-8. It's going a 9th D to C to an 8th C to C. Cool, that's in there. I don't have to stop there. I can do more too, right? Maybe this is boring here, having 2 C's in a row. But I don't have to do anything more. I can leave it like that. That could be the whole project, right? So I've gone ahead and put some inversions into the chords to make it a bit smoother. And you notice in some of them there's the second inversion here. To make that work, what you want to do, let's zoom in here. To make that work, when you enter the numbers, double click, hit the first number, then hit a space before you hit the second number. And when you click away, it'll space them properly. I've also gone ahead and re-entered these macro slurs, but you can draw them in, on a piece of paper. You don't have to try to do them like I did here. Some other things I've done, if you want to make everything be on one line, you can select what you want and hit enter. It'll make all this fit onto one line. You notice too that I put some other non-harmonic tones in there to fill in some gaps. I've labeled them. So let's go ahead and hear the whole thing. So same type of melody. There at the end I put an anticipation, right? Here, neighbor tone, some quicker notes to accelerate towards this conclusion. And so I can just have a bit more diversity in my non-harmonic tones. Okay, now that I've finished the project, I want to print it and save an audio file as an MP3. So I can just go to File and Print, and it'll let me print the thing. If you have a Mac or possibly the right browser too, it'll let you save it as a PDF too. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to save it as a PDF, but you can go ahead and just print. Hit Save, and then I'm going to go to the place I have it, Project, Noteflight version, and PDF. If I click on it, there's my project. Very cool. Okay, now I want to save it as a WAV file. Actually, I really want an MP3, but we don't have those options, so I'm going to go to Music XML, go down to here to WAV Audio, and hit OK. Click here to complete export. Okay. Now it's going to ask me where I want to put it. So I want to put it here in my Music Theory 105 project, Noteflight. It's going to save it here. So now I have my lovely project there. Let's hide the other stuff. Okay, but now I need to convert this into the MP3 file. How about this one? onlineaudioconverter.com. Let's try that one. Select my file. It's uploading. Sweet. I've selected MP3. This is fine for the quality. I mean, we have a horrible sounding quality sound in the first place, so it doesn't matter. And hit convert. Nice. Download. Well, that's really helpful. Let's go Show in Finder. And just copy that, paste it where we want, or do whatever we want with it. Sweet. So we're done. Now we can just email that to Tim. Hey. Notice the size different too. 516 kilobytes, less than a megabyte, like half a megabyte. This is 5.7 megabytes. So this one will fit easily in emails and play back on phones and stuff and send to your grandma easily.